Whoa, we're back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and I want to talk about a little bit. I don't want to read through like both of these things in full because it's just there's a lot of words that for a video, I'm sure you guys don't really care to just have like repeated to you. But go to Kakutvd, who has been a constant presence in the Bleach Soul Resonance community since the early days. If you want to see these more, but what I want to talk about is that Bleach Soul Resonance is sort of. What should I say? What is the word I want to use? Sort of just exploding out. I mean, they call it a silent hit right here. And while we can't take revenue or those revenue sites completely at face value, it's not going to take them completely at face value when it comes to Sensor Tower gacha revenue, right? Even though, as they say right here, these things, which are industry standards, are sort of like not tracked. We can say that the overall performance of the game has looked healthy. I mean, Bleach Soul Resonance has been a game that is, really obviously being sort of suffocated by Japanese IP law. This is nothing against, the nation of Japan or Japanese IP holders who are, protective of their product. I mean, it is their IP, I guess, but as we've seen with things like Nintendo, it can be very smothering, it can be unhealthy, and it can be a bit, I want to say, unlawful, the way they handle it. People tend to get confused about IP law. IP law is not there to protect you, the consumer. It is not there to protect you, the player, the buyer, anything. If you are standing up for IP law, I will tell you right now, you will come to an age where you do not appreciate how quickly the things you love are taken away from you by IP law, right? Disney is not the hero when they start throwing their weight around, even if you think they might be in the moment. But all that's to say is that Bleach Soul Resonance is doing fantastic. Estimation of 100 million just within 4 months, which is really impressive. I mean, let me actually bring something up. But I'll just pause and bring something up. So Bleach Soul Resonance estimation is within around $5.3 million. Down here we see Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade, which is another game I play very casually, very not super invested in. I just, I get on, I do my summons, I collect the free stuff, and then I sort of log off. 4.4 million. This is a game that's been around for 1.5 years almost, I imagine. As I scroll up here, we can see Dragon Ball Legends, big IP. Dragon Ball, regardless of what you might think of Dragon Ball, regardless of what anyone might think of Dragon Ball has never really stopped being, I want to say, one of the top 3 IPs just in general in Japan. I would say that in my head, I think Pokemon, which sells the most, it's the most of anything on Earth. Gundam, which Gunpla is just completely unfuckwittable in sort of like the toy space, and then Dragon Ball continues to have a dominant presence as far as like the shonen space goes. This isn't anything. One Piece fans, Bleach fans, don't argue with me in the comments. I promise this is not shade or anything. This is like I'm thinking about like the numerical facts of what's selling, right? Though look at One Piece Bounty Rush specifically doing really well right here. A One Piece game that's like a turn-based game would be pretty fun. They should get on that. But as we scroll up, I just want to say that 100 million. What does 100 million look like in estimated revenue? It's about Genshin. A double Genshin in the month of February. Now you might be saying, well, okay, Genshin made that money in a month, and it's like, yeah, but nothing is Genshin. Genshin is the reason that Nintendo is changing its model. Genshin is the reason that companies like Nintendo have realized that it's worthwhile to go into mobile games more heavily, to go into gacha systems more heavily. Things like it's Pokemon Pocket or its new Pokemon Champions, which is Pokemon Champions literally does look like a gacha. Like it's actually, you're like pulling for Pokemon, and then you get them, and then you have to spend more currency to upgrade them. Like I know it's sort of being veiled as not, but let me just say it is essentially a Pokemon gacha, right? I'm not going to speak too much more on that, but yeah, this looks really good. Approximately 55% of these earnings originate from Chinese market. That's great, honestly. Keeping China involved, keeping China strong in the market is a very like bright thing, because this is a Chinese company. The more product that it moves in China, the more chance that it continues to sort of expound and iterate on itself because it's successful at home, right? It can be successful. You can be successful in the world, but you'd rather be successful at home first. That's a good sign. The investors, we're just going to do a quick review, but I know investor one says they've, developed a very successful product. It's publication by Nuverse, a subsidiary of ByteDance, and leveraging top-tier expertise in key areas. The company's performance continues to grow steadily. We wish all your employees a happy new year. That's so great to see. Upholding philosophy of creating only high-quality products. I would say that Bleach Soul Resonance is a very high-quality product. I've said that on the up, I said immediately. I said this is a very high quality gacha game. Like I said, are there things where it's like there's nothing they could do to improve it? Of course not. There's always things they could do. But a player experience like Bleach Soul Resonance is extremely rare, exceedingly rare in the gacha space. It is so easy to play and get the characters you want in Bleach Soul Resonance. It's so easy to dupe the characters you want in Bleach Soul Resonance. The gear system isn't even one of the worst. Like, I know gear can be annoying. I genuinely do get it that gear can be annoying, but with the rate at which you get the characters and not having a speed roll on gear, I promise you the moment you've ever played a game where you have to roll for speed, you will never think that Bleach Soul Resonance gear system is like annoying again. I'm not saying that it can't still have its problems. That's not what I'm saying. People they use like a sort of exchange of like of these processes, like, oh, you can't complain about anything. It's like, no, you complain about it, but let me tell you, like, it's really not that bad. Because considering it's the only real grind in the game that exists, it's really not bad. Existing development teams and projects in progress. The focus should be extending on the lifecycle of hit games such as Bleach Soul Resonance. Yes, and ensuring they continue to generate stable profits. This is so good, man. The worst case scenario would be if we saw like a decline in Jade output, but we're just not. We're seeing it go up. I feel like we've never seen it really dip totally. It's like sustaining so well. And then Investor 3 says Bleach Soul Resonance's position as a flagship, a top tier S grade title on Nuverse. It serves as a core global strategic product. We hope our team will continue, or your team rather, will ensure continuous updates and provide excellent service to players worldwide. Yeah, I mean, how could you disagree? I think Bleach has done it all, man. Bleach is really, really solid. This game is completely, like, it's handled its space with like grace. It's handled it with like tact. They've done everything, right? Let me flip over to the game. One of the things that really impresses me about Bleach Soul Resonance is just that, like, it hasn't really, it's the success of it without dipping into like true hype. Like, I feel like early on we saw a lot of people being like, whoa, they're gonna use Aizen already, they're gonna use Kenpachi already, they're gonna use, oh my god, we're already like speeding past this and that, like not to be like, oh, L forehead, like, but what have they used really? Like, in the grand scheme of things, we've gotten Nellel, Kenpachi, Aizen, 3 characters, Mayuri 4 characters, Gin 5 characters, Toshido 6, and then launch was Bankai Ichigo 7, and we're gonna get Soifon next, 8. A lot of Adonkar missing. We're gonna get Sazalapero and Grimjaw, so 9, 10. Ulquieta still not used. Coyote Stark still not used. Yami Largo still not used. Noitara still not used. Shunsui, Yukitake, Captain Commander, Yunohana, Kenpachi. Like, what has been used really? You know what I mean? While still being able to sort of faithfully create characters like Ikaku, who is, essentially a free-to-play character, Kaname, who's essentially who's a free-to-play character, Sajin Komomura, low hype, characters that are free-to-play, Yodahara, who's excellent, very free-to-play character. I think one of the only missteps they've really had is Byakuya could stand, as I think Byakuya is a little too hyped to have been free-to-play. And I say that as someone that I love all 3 of these characters right here. I think Ikaku is a fun character. He's a bunch of comedic bits in the show that are fun. Tozen is one of the coolest, like, melanated, like, darker skinned characters in shonen anime. I feel like when this shit came on in like 2008 or something like that, whatever it was. Like, Tosin was him. That's all I gotta say on that. Komamura is a really cool design. Again, there are just so many Bleach designs that are really cool. Any of these guys easily could have been limited to me. I would love limited versions of all of them. I hope they don't run away from the idea of making limited versions of these characters. I hope that the thing they said, which is we don't want to retread too much, is mostly a safety net, just saying we don't know how long this game's going to be around, IP shareholders, etc. I hope what they do is come back to it, because I think Byakuya deserves a limited release bad, and I think Byakuya, again, he's my prime example of a character who they could make 8 of him, they could make 10 of him, they could make, you know, so many of this character. He does so much in the series, right? He also has like 4 outfits in the series. Like the dude is everywhere. Same with Kenpachi, right? Kenpachi no Bankai here, like no Bankai, no anything. This is a completely different character than the one that fights Unohana. This is a completely different character than the one who fights that dude with the blonde hair. I always forget his name. The Quincy names are all lost in my head, genuinely. But yeah, it's a game that's doing it all well. I don't even know what to say beyond that. They just do it all well. I look at it, I go, wow, they get everything right. That's it, really. The only thing I could say is that, again, I think this is something that'll just be fixed with time as they sort of continue to refine the system, but it's just going to come down to what kind of gameplay do they want to go for in the future, because gacha typically don't launch with what their end game is going to be. We are 5-ish months into this game's lifespan. We are definitely far away from like what the, you know, improved end game should look like in any case. I mean, that's just almost, unless your gacha game made like $60 million a month and then you've come out with a second one, you usually don't launch with like super interesting like end game. But I'm interested in what this tower will be. There's obviously a tower here that's still left. They've been adding modules here, and yeah, I don't know, it's great. A game that you could easily do your dailies. The dailies take 5 minutes at most. So even if you're like not a fan of the current patch, you can just you can collect so many resources, then play your main game, then play your main gacha game. Maybe you play Dokkan, maybe you play Uma Musume or something like that, right? Like, it's easy. It's easy to just have a Bleach Soul Resonance account, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this. I ranted a bit. I didn't think this video would go that long, but I was feeling it, man. I think the game's been doing well. It's really exciting to see. Thank you to everyone if you stuck around this long. I'd like to remind you to like the video, subscribe to join the club. I've been Lone, and yeah, the growth on my channel that has sort of come from this, I'm not ignorant to it. I really appreciate it. I think I try to sort of leave a section in oftentimes to you know, just get a bar off about how thankful I am that people want to see this stuff. So yeah, I appreciate y'all out there. I know that, you know, I'm not always busy down there in the comments or anything. I'm a very private person. I'm a quiet person. So it's just cool that y'all rock with me. But I do see the love. I saw some people on Reddit the other day when I was looking at questions say that they weren't really watching this person, but they were watching me. And I was just like, you know, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. But yeah, peace.